जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय यशोदानन्दना, जय ब्रज जन रंजना। जय ब्रज जन रंजना। जय यशोदानन्दना, जय ब्रज जन रंजना। जय ब्रज जन रंजना। यमुनतीरावनचारी, जय कुंज बिहारी। यमुनतीरावनचारी, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रंजना, यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुनतीरावनचारी, यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा, जय गिरिवरधारी। जय गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रंजना, यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुनतीरावनचारी, यमुनतीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा, जय कुंज बिहारी। उमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवंश। श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरंगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पा तरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांता स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे पंचतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 24, verse number 30. The Kadama Muni renouncing Swayam Vakyam Ritam Kartum Avatinosi me grihe Shikirshur Bhagavan Jnanam Bhaktana Manavardhana Swayam Vakyam Ritam Kartum Avatirnosi me grihe Chikishu Bhagavan Jnanam Bhaktana Manavardhanam Swayam Vakyam Jitam Kartum Avatirnosi me grihe Chikishu Bhagavan Jnanam Bhaktana Manavardhanam. Synonyms: Swayam, your own; Vakyam, words; Ritam, true; Kartum, to make; Avartina, descended; Asi, you are; Me grihe, in my house; Chikir Shuhu, desirous of disseminating; Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead; Jnanam, knowledge; Bhaktanam, of the devotees; Man, the honor; Vardhanaha, who increases. Kadama Muni said, you, my dear Lord, are who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, have descended in my home just to fulfill your word and disseminate the process of real knowledge. Purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. When the Lord appeared before Kadama Muni after his mature yoga practice, he promised that he would become Kardama's son. He descended as the son of Kadama Muni in order to fulfill that promise. Another purpose of his appearance is Chikirshur Bhagavan Jnanam, to distribute knowledge. Therefore, he is called Bhaktanam Manavardhana, he who increases the honor of his devotees. By distributing Sankhya, he would increase the honor of the devotees. Therefore, Sankhya philosophy is not dry mental speculation. Sankhya philosophy means devotional service. How could the honor of the devotees be increased unless Sankhya were meant for devotional service. Devotees are not interested in speculative knowledge. Therefore, the Sankhya enunciated by Kapila Muni is meant to establish one firmly in devotional service. Real knowledge and real liberation is to surrender onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and engage in devotional service. Okay, once again, translation. Kadmavani said, "You, my dear Lord, who are always increasing the honor of your devotees, have descended in my home just to fulfill your words and disseminate the process of real knowledge." So this is the interaction between this appearance of Lord Kapila um, um, sometime before when Kadmavani was engaged in sacrifice. Um, to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord became pleased with him and he gave his darshan. That time he made the prediction that um, Kadava Muni, by the power of Yogamaya potency, desired to be married. And the Lord blessed him with the um, Devahuti and also mentioned that because I'm very pleased with your sacrifice and with your devotional service, I will myself appear as your son, your Devahuti's son, as Kapila Muni. And as the Lord recommended, then the Lord disappeared. And then the Lord also told Kadava Muni that after my appearance, then you can take Vanaprastha and engage in my constant service. And that's what happened. Devahuti served Kardama Muni without any expectation, um, practicing her dharma of faithful service to the husband who is not fallen or who is a great Vaishnava, faithful service. And Kadamamuni blessed Devahuti. Then they had 9 daughters, and now they have another son who is Lord Kapila. Now back to now, Kadamamuni is very grateful to Kapila Muni, and he is mentioning, "My Lord, whatever you promised earlier, you have appeared." Um, and here, the one of the thing that Kadamuni says is that you have appeared to increase the honor of your devotees. And soon after this, that's what this chapter is called. Renunciation or renunciation by Kadamba Muni, and he left home. This will happen soon after this. One of the quality of the Supreme Lord is he does not take any credit and he gives the credit to his devotees. I was also reflecting this with this particular point. Now, before this, one point that comes up in the purport is um, this Sankhya philosophy is not mental speculation, but this Sankhya philosophy, which is propounded by um, um, Kapila Muni, was actually devotional service. And we see many verses comes in Kapila Muni's teachings like bhakti in different modes, false ego in different modes, and even um, attachment to a devotee is the opens the door for liberation, and attachment to materialist um, um, is leads to bondage. But when one become attached to devotees, the doors for liberation opens. Um, and discussion of Krishna Katha in association of sincere devotees is relishing and pleasurable to the heart. So there are many verses that are very frequently quoted that are given by Kardama Muni. He speaks about Gyan Yoga also. He speaks about different aspects of different yogas also, and then culminates them in Bhakti Yoga. Ultimately, the whole teachings of Kapila Muni is centered around or um, um, culminates in devotional service. And then what is devotional service and how to render devotional service. And then coming back to this point of the Lord descends to increase the honor of his devotee. This is one of the quality of the Lord is he does everything, but he does not come in the center. He does everything, but still he remains invisible. And only the self realized souls, or only those who are advanced in devotional service, can actually feel the effect of Lord's presence. But otherwise, I mean, he is the one who is, if we see in this creation, he is sitting in the heart of all living entities. He is watching, witnessing the desires of all living entities, whether they are devotees or they are not devotees. And even because he has selfless love, even for those who are against him, who are envious of him, he is still looking at their desires and he is still fulfilling their desires. Um, so he's basically, he's a Anumanta and Upadishta and Anumanta. Anumanta means he is permitting or he is sanctioning the desires of different living entities. um, Whatever they deserve, he gives them um, based on their own karma. But his sanction is needed, and he is doing everything behind the scene, yet he is unknown. But only the devotees of the Lord can see the hand of the Lord. And since we are approaching Nityanataradarshi, I was thinking, day after tomorrow, I was thinking of relating this point to the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And Nityananda Prabhu's mercy, first question comes is, how do we understand if we are receiving the mercy of Lord Nityananda? First, we know Lord Nityananda Prabhu is Balaram, who expands into um, the three kinds of Vishnus from whom various universes comes out, and that Mahavishnu incarnates as Advaita Charya, the glance of that Mahavishnu, um, um, like which is a combination of Mahavishnu and Sadashiva. That interaction, that aspect of the Lord descends as Advaita Charya. So in that way, Advaita Charya is also, technically speaking, an incarnation of Nityananda Prabhu, because ultimately the Lord Mahavishnu also comes from Balaram. And what is the effect of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy? We see in one of the song, um, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, uh, Gauranga bolite habe ulaka sharira, Hari Hari bolite. And then I don't remember. And then uh, there is the line which says, or ka. Let me see this particular. Yeah, it says, okay, one second. It's something like, or khabe nitai chande karuna hoibe samsara basana mora kabe tu chahabe vishaya chadiya kabe Shuddha Bhimana. So there it says, Or Khabe Nitai Chande Karuna Hoibe. One who receives the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. It says Samsara Vasana Mora. The Vasana for Samsara, or the desire to enjoy this material world. Vasana means the desire to enjoy. Samsara Vasana Mora Kabe Tucha Habe. Tucha means becomes insignificant. One who receives the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu is um, desired to enjoy in this material world becomes insignificant. And then the next line says, Vishaya Chariya Habe Shuddha Habe Mana. And when having received the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, when one gives up the desire for Vishaya, or sense gratification or enjoyment which is not very conducive for our Krishna consciousness. And when the heart is purified, then um, um, Tabe Habe He Rabo Shri Vrindavan, then one can attain the mercy of Sri Vrindavan. Because we see Lord Narayan also told Narad Muni that those who have material desires cannot see me, or the Lord is not revealed. The Lord is like recently I was mentioning this one verse to one particular devotee where um, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, it says, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunoy Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Koroy Udoy. So it says, by the process of hearing and chanting, when the heart is purified, then the love for Krishna is awakened from within our heart. This Krishna consciousness is a path of revelation, and the Lord reveals the process. Lord reveals Himself in various stages, and He reveals to us when the heart becomes purified. To the extent the heart is purified, to that extent, the Lord will reveal to us. And the prerequisite is Shuddha Habe Mana. And when one receives the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, then the samsara vasana becomes tuchya. And I was reflecting on this point that how do we understand if we are receiving the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? How do we know? And that is known by the symptoms. And same thing, like I have in another song, in that song which says, Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala. There, um, one of the line it says, Nitai na bolilo mukhe, majilo samsara sukhe. Nitai na bolilo mukhe, majilo samsara sukhe. So when anybody who does not chant or does not pray or does not in any form like receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, samsara, majilo samsara sukhe, then he is engaged in the sukh of samsara. He is engaged in material gratification. In other words, whether Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this song Gauranga Bolite Habe or Nityananda Prabhu's or Narottam Das Thakur's song, they both are mentioning that one who receives the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, he becomes free from the desire for samsara. And when that happens, naturally, Vrindavan is revealed. And that's why it is also mentioned that without Radha Krishna Paitinahi, one who does not receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu cannot get Radha Krishna, because he is the one who prepares us. And that's we can relate it also to him as Guru Tattva, because Guru is the one who purifies us, who guides us. And by following the instruction of Sri Guru, when the heart becomes purified, then um, then one can approach Shri Krishna. And this is also um, kind of synchronizes with the Lord Krishna's appearance, where once Balaram came, then he purified the heart of Devaki. I mean, that's what Devaki is a pure devotee, but the symbolizing effect, how it is described by our acharyas, the six children represent six anarthas, and Balaram purifies, and then so that Krishna may appear. Um, and Balaram, Nityananda Prabhu, every song you see the same concept comes again and again. Is Nitai's mercy can be seen if we have received, if our desire for samsara goes down, and that is the basic requirement for um, um, the love for Krishna to reawaken. And Prabhupada would explain that entire love for like complete realization is all within our heart. It's not something that we acquire externally. It's something. It's not something by some technique or by some process. As such, it can be attained, but it is attained only to the extent uh, Shuddha Chitte, to the extent the heart is purified. And that's why Nitai. And Prabhupada also mentions in one of the purport in Srimad Bhagavatam that Balaram is, Bala means strength, and Balaram gives us spiritual strength. And spiritual strength. And if we see in Bhagavad Gita, lust, um, third chapter at the end, Lord Krishna explains by spiritual strength one can overcome this enemy called lust. And then Lord Krishna says how everyone is overcome because lust means samsara vasana. Lust means um, desire for material enjoyment. So whether it is a song of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Narottam Das Thakur, or Bhagavad Gita, or Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada purports, everything brings us to the same point, purification of the heart, and that happens by the mercy of Balaram, the lust is removed by the mercy of spiritual strength, which is again Balaram, and whose most merciful aspect is I mean, Balaram himself with increased daya, mercy, is Nityananda Prabhu. Then another thing that I was thinking is um, um, based on this like spiritual strength, we need strength to say no to Maya and to say yes to Krishna. Like we hear one of Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes two of the symptoms of surrender is accepting whatever is favorable for our advancement Krishna consciousness and rejecting whatever is unfavorable. And then we all may identify that whatever is unfavorable for my Krishna consciousness, and then we need strength. We need strength um, to overcome whatever is unfavorable, and that's how we go beyond mediocrity, um, and can grow if we can say no to things that are unfavorable. And to be able to say no again, we need the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, because he is the one who gives us the strength for the um, samsara vasana. Kabe tuchha habe, when will it become insignificant? So that's why, and Prabhupada mentioned that's why we are installing Mahaprabhu Nityananda Prabhu's deities, because um, the living entities are very conditioned and deeply bound in this material existence, and one need the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu in order to come out of it. And another thing that comes up is one angle of Nityananda Prabhu comes up is his deep love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, this question remains, okay, Nityananda Prabhu, mercy is needed. That's how material desire will go away and one naturally will become attracted to Sri Vrindavana. How does one qualify oneself to receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu? And that's where two things that will help us receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu is we have to please him. When we please Lord Nityananda Prabhu, we will receive his mercy. And how do we please Nityananda Prabhu? Just like how do we please Srila Prabhupada? Then by helping him in service to his Guru Maharaj. That's how, like, if we have to please somebody, then we want to know what is the main desire of that person, what the person wants to do. And if we help him to do what he actually came to do what he wants to do, then we are noticed. And that's what service to Guru means, is fulfilling Guru's desire. Like Prabhupada says, all you wonderful souls have been sent by Guru Maharaj to help me in my mission to my Guru Maharaj. Thank you all for helping me in my mission to my Guru Maharaj. So when we actually fulfill what the Guru is hankering for, when we fulfill those desires, then Guru is naturally pleased. And what Nityananda Prabhu is hankering for, he has two very deep hankerings. One hankering he has is his love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and another hankering he has is the instruction that is given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. So these are the two things that I've heard Ramapad Maharaj was once mentioning. These are the two things how we can receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And if we don't have those two things, then we can pray on the upcoming festival, Nityananda Tradashi. That can be our mood, because it's important to understand what will please Nityananda Prabhu, and how to identify if I receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And as this particular verse also says, the Lord does not come in front, um, and he does not reveal himself, but only devotees can see the hand of the Lord. He does everything, but only devotees are able to see that. 13th chapter Bhagavad Gita also says Paramatma is doing everything, but only devotees can see the hand of Paramatma in their lives. And Lord Krishna also says that you fight, everything is done, and you win the glory. So one thing that is Nityananda Prabhu's main desire is to give Krishna to others, because, and that's what we see his life centers around when he was there, when he was manifesting on in Navadvip Leela and in Jagannath Puri Leela, because that was the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And and that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended. Other than tasting himself the devotional mellow, he descended to give it to others. Um, and that's what Mahaprabhu told Nityananda Prabhu. Prati gare gare giya mange e bhiksha, bolo Krishna bhajo Krishna karo Krishna siksha. Um, and so when we somehow or other, in whichever means, whether as a cooking, whether as prasad distribution, whether as holy name sankirtan distribution, whether as book distribution, whether as giving lectures, whether as in whichever way we try to spread the mission, we become noticed by Nityananda Prabhu. That is one. I mean, one of the devotees asked this question, Ramapad Maharaj, on Nityananda Tradashi last year, I believe, or last year. Maharaj came to Grand Rapids and one devotee asked, and he was emphasizing on how important it is to receive the mercy of Lord Nityananda. And one devotee asked Maharaj, how do we become dear to him? How do we get that? How do we become dear to Nityananda Prabhu? And Maharaj said, by delivering Jagais and Madhais. I mean, I'm Jagai and Madhai. Some of us may also be in the same category, but yet we have some knowledge that we can share. We can at least try, endeavor, although without any qualification. And that's one way we become dear to Nityananda Prabhu. Another way we become dear to Nityananda Prabhu is by worshipping Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And um, there is one song, I will read one particular line. This is in this song, Khoda Nitai. Their Bhaktivinoda Thakur song, and he says, एक बार देख ले चखे जाल, एक बार देख ले चखे जाल, गौरा बोले निताय दे सकल संभाल, गौरा बोले निताय दे सकल संभाल, खोड़ा निताय, खोड़ा निताय. So the word itself, Khoda Nitai, means that Nityananda Prabhu has opened a marketplace for the holy name. There is another song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur which says that Nitai is the owner, and then it says like Gadadhar Pandit and Shivas Thakur are helping in distribution, and Bakreshwar Pandit is collecting, and this and all the associates of the Lord, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in one of the song, they are helping, and the person who opened the Namahatta, which originally he opened at Surabhi Kunj. Surabhi Kunjete Name Hat Kuleche. Surabhi Kunjete Namahat Kuleche. He opened the Namahat at Surabhi Kunj. That was the first one. And Nityananda Prabhu's mercy is opening Namahatta centers all over the world now. All ISKCON centers are Namahatta centers where Nita is giving the holy name. So there, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, "एक बार देख ले चखे जाल, गौरा बोले निताय दे सकल संवाद." एक बार देख ले चखे जाल, referring to Nityananda Prabhu. एक बार देखे चखे जाल. Jal means water. Chakhe is eyes. Chakshu. It comes from chakshu. So chakhe jal means water in the eyes or tears. एक बार देखे. Once Nitai sees the tears in the eyes, when Gaura bole, when somebody chants the name of Gaura, and when by chanting the names of Gaura, Nitai sees once the eyes in the tears in the eyes of a devotee, and Nitai de Sakala Sambal. Nitai will give them perfection. If once, I mean, this is like something to think about. How to receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu is by sincerely worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are like inseparable. They are like live for each other, kind of the deepest affection. And that's what actually Bhaktivinoda Thakur is praying. I think this um, Gauranga bolite habe pulaka sharira, Hari Hari bolite nayane bhave neera. And this song, the first line actually means Gauranga bolite habe. When will that day come when by chanting the name of Gauranga will the hair on my body stand on end, and by chanting Hari Hari will tears come from my eyes? When that day will be mine? It's a song of separation. So um, that's all I wanted to mention about how Nitai's mercy is needed, and when his mercy appears, the samsara vasana will disappear, and that's how we know that we are receiving the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Um, and it seems like just like it seems like we are the doers, like Krishna says, out of ahankar one thinks we are the doers. Likewise, one may think that I'm making progress and my heart is becoming pure and I don't have so many desires anymore. But then one when one sees the reality, when one sees the work of our predecessor teachers, then we see actually this is happening by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And it's just like we think we are the doers and Krishna is not visible, how his holy name is purifying, how he is making all arrangements in our life. Likewise, Nitai is not really visible. Yes, for Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, Nitai gave direct darshan, but for us, we can see his mercy by the results. And for those like myself who are not yet pure, these two things help receive the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. One is worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with feeling, because I mean, Nitai was asked to say Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna Siksha, and Nitai would go to everyone and say Bhajo Gaurango, Kaho Gaurango, Lavo Gauranga Naam Re, Sei Jana Gauranga Bhaje, Eho Mora Pran Re. Whoever chant the name of Gauranga becomes my life and soul. So that shows like the deep affectionate relationship between Nityananda Prabhu and Mahaprabhu. And when Mahaprabhu is worshipped, Nityananda Prabhu is become very pleased with us. And when we give the message, and that is actually Mahaprabhu's desire, which Nitai took at his life and soul, and all our acharyas are uh, in the footsteps of Nityananda Prabhu are trying to share the same message and helping Nityananda Prabhu in his service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who came to give Krishna in every town and village. So that's all I have. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. is is there any discussion?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandam Pranam. Thank you for the super fantastic class, Prabhu. I personally like the points which you started with, that Krishna doesn't come in front, and I see many devotees have that quality. And Maharaj also mentions about the quality of the salt. So I like that point. I also like the point when you talk about how do we experience that if we have mercy of Lord Nityananda.
Mm.
And then you also pave the road to talk about if we don't have that mercy, how do we get that mercy? By worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and at the same time distributing the holy name or distributing Krishna's mercy everyone to everyone. That was very wonderful point, Prabhu. Thank you for
Thank
purifying
you.
our consciousness or arranging our consciousness for Nityanand Prabhu's appearance day. Thank you.
Thank you. Everyone knows everything here, but then, you know, I try to say it again. Thank you for encouraging me.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandat Pranam, Priya Madhvi Devi.
Can you hear me, Prabhuji?
We can hear you.
Prabhuji, when you say Nityananda Prabhuji and Balram is, first in my understanding, first to approach, they are the merciful, everything comes from them. So I'm, for example, Nityananda Tridasi coming, instead of doing so many services, if I offend so many people, then that is also like a huge, big offense without knowingly. For because ordering flower, I will scold the people who's not giving the flower properly, and delivering is also a problem. I was because I need with knowingly or unknowingly I'm offending. So that is also like a huge mistake, Prabhuji. Then how can I come out of that?
Yeah, this is a very, very difficult thing. We all go through these phases all the time. My personal understanding is, Mataji, we cannot please all the devotees all the time. So we try to please the root, which is Lord Krishna. Krishna says, as you water the root of the tree, all that leaves, twigs, and branches are satisfied. Likewise, we are careful that we don't displease devotees. But I mean, there are many decisions that we will make. Naturally, somebody may like some decisions, somebody may not like some decisions. It is not possible I mean, we are very insignificant. But one thing that we can do with our heart is try to please Krishna. And when we try to please Krishna, everyone is satisfied. And in spite of, I mean, when we try with the best of our intention, whatever we can do, if things goes wrong here and there, um, we take it as will of Krishna. We can take a humble position there. And very beautiful song. Maro bhi rakho bhi jo icha tumhar. Nitya dasa prati tu adhikar. You have the adhikar to do whatever you like to do with me. One of the song on surrender, Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes. So whether we are feeling good or we are feeling bad, we try to keep our mind pure by not seeing fault in anyone, not blaming anyone for my situation, but taking shelter of Krishna. Krishna, you can treat me in whichever way you like. I will continue my service to you. Krishna, it doesn't matter. Krishna, let everybody curse me, let everybody be displeased with me. I mean, not that we try to do, but when we actually go through very difficult time, basically intention is, my Lord, you can deal with me in any way you like. I'll continue chanting your names. I will continue serving you. I'll continue my service to you. And then um, um, Krishna will rectify. The moment you take shelter of Krishna, Krishna immediately rectifies. How Krishna is inconceivable. Krishna will make his work, and these can be seen as a opportunity to take shelter of Krishna. Anytime you take shelter, Krishna reciprocates. Always Krishna reciprocates. So, I mean, it may take a day, maybe it may take some time, but every time we take shelter, Krishna immediately brings us back. So, all we have to do is constantly take shelter of Krishna, try to serve Krishna by pleasing Krishna, whatever is not in our hand, keeping our mind pure, not from our side. If we find fault in someone or have negative feelings for someone, then it becomes our mistake. So we don't want our mind to go anywhere other than taking shelter of Krishna in every situation in a humble way and surrendering whatever happens, that this was the will of the Lord. Seeing the hand of Krishna, whatever happens, we surrender to Krishna because we see the hand of Krishna. we try to see. Did I answer, Priya Madhvi Devi?
Sure, Prabhuji, sure, Prabhuji. My intention is everything have to look good in the altar. My intention is to make the festival well. That is my intention. That's all. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah, and Krishna will certainly help. And also, like you mentioned, um, on this day, receiving mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, Nityananda Prabhu mercy is, I mean, we celebrate. I mean, it's a big day for us. Like Yuval Kishore Prabhu says in one discussion in Chopati Brahmachari, they say that they all concluded Nityananda Trayodasi is the biggest festival of the year because Guru is the main cause and Nityananda Prabhu is Adi Guru, from various perspectives. Um, so we celebrate with great pomp and show, yet simultaneously the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu is not received by pleasing Nityananda Prabhu on that day, but it is pleased by um, our activities throughout the year. And we want to become dear, just like Guru comes once in a while, and we don't please Guru by when he comes serving him, we please Guru by serving him all the time. Same in Nityananda Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? Any other discussion points? Okay, thank you all for joining. Please forgive me for any mistakes. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much.
Syamanand Krishna Prabhu ki.
Ananta
Jai.
Koti Vaishnavrinda.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very grateful. Wonderful class. Thank you for uplifting the consciousness. Very grateful.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.